Hey everyone, and welcome to the Not a Blur e-commerce show. I'm Ronk. I spent the last 20 years in e-commerce. I built 2 e-commerce businesses to 50 million per year. And now I'm building a couple of new things and speaking with amazing people like Faris, who is sitting right next to me, and learning new stuff. And today we'll be speaking about one of my personal favorite topics, influencer marketing. Here is Faris, founder of EMF Media that specializes just in that. Now, I really had the pleasure of working with Faris in a couple of projects, and I was just literally blown away by his analytical approach to running, optimizing influencer marketing, getting the right influencers, optimizing campaigns, getting insights for just growth. So, Faris, it's really a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for taking the time. Want to maybe do a short intro of yourself before we get into the nitty-gritty?
Yeah, thank you, Rock, for the invitation, and it's a pleasure to be here. So my name is Faris. I am the founder and CEO of EMF Media. It's a boutique growth agency that support growth for direct-to-consumer brands in the European market. Our biggest market is the French market, but we also do other European market. We don't work with a lot of brands. We work with 10 to 20 maximum per year. And the goal is to grow these brands on channels like influence marketing that we will talk about, but also we do other channels as paid media. Yeah, I think before we dive deep into the influence marketing and the nitty gritty, like we say, I think I will go back how I started into influence marketing and how I incorporated into my agency. Before I start to do what I'm doing right now, which is running the agency for the last 5 years. 10 years ago, pre-social media, I was an artist manager. I had another company on the other side of managing artists and talents. And when I got to influencer marketing and trying to book talents, I found like similarity of management and negotiation skills. That's just parenthesis.
So essentially, you have really not a fair advantage. You know how the other side thinks, how they work, how we can get them beautiful.
This story that I'm going to say, like, it's how I opened my mind. I think influencer marketing existed from the, everybody, we influence each other's, like, if there is 2 parties, there's influence. So, and influence marketing, I think, went to another level when social media became part of our lives. Like, if we see right now, like, there is no any entity in the world, whether it's politics, whether it's media, whether it's brands, you cannot run or market if you don't use social media. And influencer marketing was just amplified with that. Going back to the story, how we started to dive deep into influencer marketing, I started as a paid media, running Facebook ads back in the days, 2017, 2018. This is how I learned. I'm self-taught. And 2019, when I started growing the agency tiny bit, like to work with clients, I had a client, a brand, and a Canadian brand that I was launching in the same time in the US and Europe. I was the one responsible for everything for that brand, doing the paid media. And we ran Facebook for a month, 2, launching the brand. And then it's not profitable anymore. And running only paid media, I said, what we need to do, we need to find a new channel. So at that time, I was looking into influencer marketing, and then I said, okay, we're going to test this. And the story short is I'm making the story short. The founder and people, I think people listening, they may have, there is a lot of founders that are good at one thing, which is paid or organic, and they are not good at, and they are very afraid to spend money or to learn, to invest in a new channel. So what I did with that client, so I told them hey, we need to test influencer marketing to see if we find a new channel to unlock growth, because it's being difficult running only, creating demand only with Facebook. They were a little bit, it's not the time. I said we're going to pay it with our own money for that test.
Wow, the agency.
Yeah, the agency. Wow. Own pocket to test. At the time, it was celebrities. And we send them the product, we brief them, we told them be as organic as possible. That time, those 2 celebrity couples were really big. They're doing 3 to 5 million views on Snapchat at the time. And we ran that promotion and we got like 250,000 visitors in 48 hours, like 250,000 visitors with 0.4 conversion rate. We were profitable. We did like 3 or 4 ROI. But for me, from that moment, it changed my mind about everything. And then I dived deep into influencer marketing and build it process.
You risked 20K of your own money on a business that was actually not your own. What gave you that belief that this is really going to work out?
Opportunity cost. For me, like that, the timing was super right to test something that not thousands of brands were doing it at the time, especially with the talents and with that category. Now it's not working. Like people, if they want to replicate it, it's not working anymore. And influencer marketing progressed. So I wanted to unlock something, and this is a test. If it worked, it's good for us. If it did not work, that test, it goes into the learning. So I think as entrepreneurs, sometimes we take risks, and by fully acknowledging the risk, and we are good if we lose. For me, I was fine with that.
Beautiful. Now, this is actually a great lead in to my first real question, because I've seen a lot of brands where influencers work like a charm, and then there's a lot of brands that's where influencers maybe, it's like a bit on the fence, can they work or not? And then there's brands where influencers don't really work. So in your case, you obviously, for that first experiment, you had that feeling that influencers, celebrities are going to work for this type of brand. So tell us, what kind of brands are influencers really right for? What brands really need them, and what brands they don't really work for as good as we hope?
Good question. I think it's really, really powerful question, and it's both. Like I have brands right now that influencer marketing can be an ROI channel, like you run Facebook or something. And there's some brands that influencer marketing is just top of the funnel awareness, and you don't have ROI. So it's depend on how you're going to incorporate influencer marketing in your business. For me, I think if you're a consumer brand, you should use influencer marketing at least at a certain point of demand generation, because you want to create demand for your brand. Demand is super important for me. We spend over the last few years, I managed personally 60 million in ad spend in Facebook. And the more time passed, especially in Europe, I don't know about the US market. If we run in Europe, like you and me, the countries that we have, are not 300 million people. It's 60 million, 80 million people. So if you run influence marketing organically and you build demand with influence marketing, your top of the funnel, Facebook, will not be cold audience anymore. So you break that ceiling of the invisible ceiling, like I call it, you will see the uplift in your ROI. People, we are selling to people. We are not selling to CPM and CTR and those numbers. And that's what, as marketers, we forgot. We look only at data, and then we forgot that it's people behind the screen that are getting influenced to buy our product, and we're marketing to them. Coming back to the question, I believe any brand can make influencer marketing work. Some brands will be mandatory to have it as a top 2 channels for them. Some brands can have it as a backup channel that helps with awareness and helps to build trust and authority within the marketplace.
You just are mentioning things like demand generation, measurements, profitability. On one hand, influencers work to generate demand for the brands, to prove to consumers that you're a trusted brand, that you're someone that they should trust, that they should work with, they should buy from. And then on the other hand, there's also direct response. How do you see today, so maybe not the history, but how do you see influencer marketing actually working today? Is it more like really top funnel, or are we still measuring drop-off profitability? How does that work?
To be honest, right now, at the moment, I'm talking, I'm going to take 3 brands we have. One brand is into the consumer. I would say we're selling women underwear, and where there is a lot of competition in that category. And the brand 4 years ago did not start influence marketing, and they started with us this year. So the ROI part of it, it's gone. So we are having top channel is Facebook and Google, and we are doing PR, SEO, etc. And influencer marketing, we added it in our marketing mix as, let's say, 10 to 12% of the full budget. Let's say if we spend 200,000 euro a month in marketing, 10 to 15 maximum will be put on influencer marketing in order to generate demand and also solidify the effort that we are doing on the other channels without an ROI performance marketing.
More or less branding.
Yeah. And creating conversation and like unlocking also insights from the consumer, and you find angles and also new type of audience. So if you're on media in Facebook, like it's a creative game, but you will find sometimes there is this ceiling. If you're spending 100K a month, you will scale maybe to 200, but at 200K a month on Facebook, you will have that ceiling. What's going on? You are hitting the same audience over and over and over again. So to unlock new audiences that already maybe never seen your ads, or even if they see the impression, they are not interested by your brand, you need to influence them outside the platform. And that's, we use influence marketing. The other type of brand that influence marketing is key driver to growth, which is most of them like beauty product. Beauty is super important to run influence marketing. Fitness, food, pets, like there is some niches that it works really well. Some products, like it's product market fit and brand magic. Like we just put the right things in front of the right people, and it's the product and market fit. The more time passed, more the experience, I think we will learn until we die. And this is my motto. Like I'm learning every single day, and I learn from people like you as well. For me, like it's not too complicated. If you do the right things and you put the right product in front of the right audience, if there is a demand and the product can solve a problem for people, and you're doing things genuinely, it's gonna blow up and you're gonna have ROI. I have a brand. I cannot say the name and the niche, but we're selling deodorant for a specific community in the French market. This brand right now, the main channel is influencer marketing. We spent last month 100K in influence marketing. 50% of the marketing budget is influence marketing, and 50% is between the other channels: Facebook, Google, TikTok, and a little bit Snapchat. 200K spent for 1.2 million revenue. That demand is generated by the influencer doing 5, 6, 7 ROI. But it's specifically to specific type of product, a specific type of audience, where it's community-based products. It does 6 to 7 ROI on a really big scale, create demand. But there is challenge on the other side. This brand, like if I show you the metrics, like without knowing the brand, without knowing their marketing channel, I show you like 40% gross margin, 15% EBITDA, 10% operational cost, and 30 to 40%, let's say, not even 30% marketing spend. You say like, oh, this is not sustainable business. What's the LTV? Then returning customer is 35 to 40%. There is something, and the AOV is less than $40. You know what I mean? Every business is different, and there is key ingredient that we need to put in consideration in order to execute the marketing plan or the channels.
Now, if we go back to measurement, so you mentioned two types of businesses. So we have one business where influencer is more like a branding vehicle, where you don't really go for direct performance. The other one is a bit more direct performance. And let's dive a little bit into each one. But if we go first with the first one. So when you start working with a brand where you know that it's going to be a bit more of a branding channel, you can't really count on direct performance. How do you then measure the impact? Do you look at like blended ROAS, blended CPO, contribution margin, how that is improving over time as you add more influencer spend? Do you look at things like, I don't know, other metrics and other channels improving because you're adding more influencers, like search volumes growing and so on? So how do you in that case then both prove the value of influencer to the client, but at the same time also how do you optimize your own work? Because you need to figure out which are the best influencers for them, which types of influencers to go for, and so on. How do you do that?
First of all, when we look at the brand, what's the activity that you do within influencer marketing? Because influencer marketing can be so deep. First, you will have the performance like pay per post, okay? Like you pay a celebrity or you pay an influencer, and then you will have gifting, seeding, however you want to call it, like just gifting your product in order to create demand with nano, micro influencer. And then you have affiliate marketing, like you create an ambassador program, etc. All those three types, how you fit them within the size of the influencer and also the type of influencer, because not all influencers are equal. There is the expert. So, for example, if I have a beauty brand, who is the expert? For example, the expert can be the skincare key opinion leaders that are in the market. There will be the dermatologists, the doctors, and then there is the other types that are more, let's say, influential people within the community, but they are not influencer as their main job. And then you have the third type, which is influencer is their main job and they get paid for that. And then you have celebrity. So these four types, you need to treat them differently within your strategy. And these four types then goes the size from nano to mega celebrity. And then you have the category of that influence. Is it directly related to your beauty category, or is it a category similar to beauty? Let's say if we are clean, then it's a wellness, self-care influencer. And then you have unrelated category, which is, let's say, food or a chef. They use products. Also, like they use beauty products, right? So how you fit that within your framework and how you track the data. So the goal is for us, I come, as I said, like analytic from paid media, and they build a process, which is a simple process that we track the influencer, its size, the category and the field of the influencer, the views of the influencer, price. If we pay him, we put the price. If we don't pay him, we put the cards. And then we see correlated how many views we reach on that same category per month. And if there is tracked revenue from affiliation or from coupon code, we can track it with ROI. And then I can dive deep in the data. So what can I do is like, I think I can share my screen.
All right, now this is what we're talking about. Faris's spreadsheet with a lot of beautiful data.
So we built a simple process. I can share the template with you, like to share it with your community happily. So for us, this is like, we call it pay-per-post bookings. It will have like all our data. There is software and stuff. We do things simple in a Google Sheet. So you will have affiliation, you will have seeding, you will have paid. Like for us, we want to track how many views we have, how many like confirmed influencers. So all of those that you will see here, we have the email or the agency, and then you will have the field. Depending on the brand, we will have fields and category. As I said, like if I am having how to say a beauty product or a supplement brand, I'm not only gonna sell to fitness people. There is also like different categories of fields we can track. And for example, here, like we track lifestyle. For example, moms, we know like moms, influencers are like, they work almost for any categories. And we started also to go like dive deep on that category of moms. And we go like mom sport, fitness, food, fashion, interior design.
Wow, a lot of categories there, man. A lot of categories.
Yeah. And then it's the size, and then it's the followers that you have and the views. The views is great because like what we do with the views, when you start fresh, you will ask for the views, but at scale, you cannot get really the views of the influencer accurately, and the views may vary. So depending on the brand and the market, we will have our average view. Let's say if it's like 20,000 followers, we put like for this brand is 12% average views on the followers. Some brands will be less, depending on the category also. From micro to nano to mega, the views range. So we will create in the formula of what's the average for us, and then we ask also after the post, we ask for the analytics to just get as accurate or as how to say near possible. Sometimes it could be less, sometimes it could be more, but the goal is just to have an estimation of how much views we reach per month doing influence marketing. Because when you treat the CPM, how much reach and impression you have within your Facebook, that ads, you will see like you have 3-second view, hold rate, all this stuff. In influence marketing is different. We are grabbing attention of people. I'm talking about Instagram, TikTok is another beast. Like people are following people that they trust, or they are following them for a specific reason. So that hold rate is higher than the impression and the reach of Facebook and other paid media. Then the price, for example, when you see like 11.50, that's the COGS. So we incorporate, if we are doing, for example, for a micro influence or gifting, and that box costed like $50, we will put it here. And calculation.
So the goods that you gift to influencers and probably shipping costs of getting the products to them.
Yeah, it gets into your P&L, right? So you need to include it in the cost. So, and then like you have we put dates, weeks, the week. I will tell you why we do it like that. The month, the year, discount if we're doing discount, and then the channels. Like you have all the channels, and then the starting cost, etc. Units sold, the revenue. We track them from coupon codes or UTMs, depending on the brand. For most of our brands, like it's coupon code. It's whether it's gifting, affiliation, or else. Clicks, CTR, and CRV, we can put them from UTMs in order that we don't do them for all. If we can see here, it's like I put you thousands of rows, and you will understand why on the report of analysis. Like you can vet also like your messaging, because sometimes you can see the tone of voice, the authenticity of the influencer, what message resonates. And then what we do, we take that information and then we feed it to the paid media team. Hey, that's what resonates with our consumer. That messaging work. Let's see that audience also and that category work. Let's see how we can incorporate that data and that insights into strategy for other channels as well to unlock what we said before, the invisible ceiling of paid media. Because people try to scale, and like Facebook, that like in some categories that it's huge, right? Like people, we hit a ceiling. Like I think we need to open maybe distribution channel. And yes, of course, that's important to have other distribution channels. But I think like in some categories, like you can still scale to really big numbers on Facebook and Meta if you unlock new audiences, and influence marketing help to build and unlock this new audience. Then we go to our report. So as you can see, like in this model, we track the spend per month. This spend include all activity of influence marketing, whether it's gifting, affiliate, pay-per post, organic, dark posting, whitelisting. I think we can touch the base a little bit.
Let me ask you a quick question on this one. So I'm seeing revenues here. So how do you get to revenues? How do you measure the revenues in your approach?
The revenues that are tracked by coupon code, whether it's 48 hours tracking for that coupon code, or it's an affiliate.
And there's nothing else. Coupon codes, 48 hours, affiliate links, nothing else.
Exactly, nothing else. Just the channel. It's lower than the impact on the NER of the brand, but we like to do it like this because it gives us an indicator. And then when we build our sheet and our process like that, we can break down the analysis. So we can see the collapse, the spend, the revenue, and the ROAS by tiers. So we can see the gifting, nano, influencer, and micro. The nano, for example, it cost us, we don't pay them. It cost us 8,500 euro of COGS, and it generated over a year. I think like now, how much? Like, we are a year and a half or 2 years. Yes, I think it's 2 years, 1.3 million spend. And, you have 6 figures over time coming from nano influence. This is on coupon code of that in that collaboration. But the impact is bigger on demand generation, brand building, social proof, authority, etc. And then you have we see the macro, mega, celebrity, you see the ROI changes. And then because for us, as I said, we have 4 categories. You track who is the type of the influencer you work with, from key opinion leaders to mega, the size from nano to macro, and then the field of the influencer. And because we put our data analytics different in rows like this, we can create and play with the columns. So we can go dive deep into which category, which influencer field, because the influence team, they will be having a budget to book. They will look it's more creative work. Let's look who is more authentic. If we want to build brand, let's look who is more ROI driven influencer. That is QVC seller. That's gonna make us ROI. But often, if we do that work, we forgot there is opportunity for growth in an untapped category and tapped influencer that we missed. How can we explore? And coming from the paid media background, I built with my team like we take the micro influencer. This is, for example, a lifestyle brand, and obviously we track the fields of the influencer, and we see like in the micro influencer, our average ROI is 3.3, right? On coupon codes. So we see, for example, clothing and outfit category influencer are like our third biggest influencer with 182 collabs. And here we have 4.2 ROI. So clearly we know like there is one category field type of influencer like that is super relevant to our brand is working on the micro side. Let's scale that. And let's find like the small ones that we did that are like above our blended micro ROI, and how can we untap that? And you can use this in different categories.
Looks really fantastic. I mean, how you build this, how you're actually optimizing based on direct performance, how we're really digging into it. It's really beautiful stuff. I mean, this is what really sold me on EMF when you first spoke, I don't know, about a year ago.
When we worked together for that brand, I think like, because we use past data also to inform future strategies, and we worked on a specific performance base. And you see, like, you will have always, you cannot have 100% or even 70% of positive ROIs. It's impossible. If a brand can pull 30% to 40% of all their collaboration as positive ROI, it's huge success. And then you will have the ones that will not generate conversion. It's fine, but they will generate authority and demand and authenticity. It's called, like, you can call it brand magic or whatever you want to call it. There's things like the data don't show. Is the word of mouth and the authenticity of brand building you can do on the back end.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I mean, that's we all grew up as performance marketers, but I think that's all of us in the past few years started learning that there's a lot more to performance than just performance. But having said that, so looking at your tables, we always see that different types of influencers have different ROIs. So you see that usually mega influencers show not as good ROAS as nano influencers. Then I guess, do you and your team make decisions only based on the ROAS that you see, or is there also more strategic component? And what is that? Because I know it's not just that, right? So how do you balance between that? Because you have this bucket of amazing ROAS influencers, then you have these buckets of super expensive low ROAS influencers, but you still do them. Why? How do you manage that?
There is two things. So how like if we get somebody in the team and we have like a brand that want to achieve both, because both brands, like all brands, ideally want to have the ROI and the brand fit. This is the ideal of everybody, but it's impossible to achieve it at every kind of level, right? That's why like some influencer will be good for amazing brand fit, for authority, for LTV value, etc. And like they will build you like really good brand image and brand fit. But at the same time, they will not drive revenue. Does not mean those influencers are bad, or you should not spend the budget there. You should be strategic how you budget depending on the goals. The goal in the end, how can we be like even or profitable depending on the brand, on the whole influencer marketing channel. And then inside it, you see KPIs and brand fit. Some influencers are really brand fit and some influencers are only KPI driven. I will give you an example. For some of our clients, there is, let's say, the moms, some category of moms in some countries, Italy, Germany, or France, that are super ROI driven. But the LTV and the brand fit and brand building with those categories of influencer is not as high. So you will generate revenue, you will pay the influencer, or you will collaborate with affiliation or whatever structure you will do, you will be positive. But on the long term, you're not gonna get high LTV and high brand recognition and brand fit with that type of influencer and the audience.
So it's a cash cow, but not a long-term value driver, in short.
Exactly.
Okay. So Faris, we are slowly running out of time, and this was really fascinating, but I still have two questions for you. And number one, you mentioned gifting a couple of times. Could you briefly explain what it is, how it works, and why they should do it?
Every brand should do gifting and depend with the reservation, depending on unit economics, how much costs your product to ship. If you have your COGS are a bit less than $20, you should be gifting your product, especially if your product is consumable or like,
Yeah. So if you're Tesla, probably you don't want to do gifting.
No, you don't. So gifting is super important because you create free views, awareness, and also potentially you will have like some bumps on revenue. You don't know from where it comes if you do it right. And you also get something super valuable. You create content. You have free content coming. Content that you can repurpose on paid media, content you can repurpose on social, and word of mouth. So for us, like brands, we recommend them to do, like, depending on their scale, to do at least 100 to sometimes 1,000 per month, depending on the market, the scale. But gifting with has to be strategic because we did the mistake for us. Like, we gift and we give them a brief and we tell them that you have a coupon code and then when you make revenue, we can get you in the affiliate program. That's wrong. And I start to suggest every brand, you should not do that. You should. It's like reciprocity, right? If I ask you, Rock, I want you to help me, like, I send you an email and you're a nice person, because you are, and you reply to me, I am an entrepreneur of this brand. Can you please help me fix this? But also you need to train my team for a week, and then we see if it works for us, we can work with you and pay you. Would you do it? Would you say, this brand, well, why are they like this? It's the same. So if you treat the influencer relationship as like value, you give them value, they will give you value. And this comes, of course, your product needs to be good. You have a good experience of unboxing. And if you're selling something good and you have a really good brand values, this can blow up because people will get your product. There is no expectation. They will tag you, and then you can offer them to join your ambassador program, and they can get affiliation and they can get recurring gifting. So product monthly or quarterly against performance or affiliation. And that you create your ambassador army of 100 of 200 nano micro influencers that are into your affiliate program, where you will have a product launch. Email to all of them, hey guys, we are launching this new SKU, we are shipping it to you, and we are doing the launch on that day. They will post free content.
All right. So essentially, what you select the right nanos, like the everyday person has a couple of thousand followers. You get in touch, you send them your product. How does that work?
It can go from 2,000, 5,000 followers up to the 100,000. It's all, for me, it's a relationship building, and you need to build authentic relationship and to don't treat it as transactional only. Of course, there is transaction. Even if it's transactional at any level, it should be relationship building and putting the brand and other person, because we are interacting with people. It's not like running Facebook or Meta or Google ads and like looking at the number. We are building a relationship.
So even then, when working with, let's say, regular influencers, 100K plus, you would still send them this first as a sort of like, we want to send you a gift, see if you like it. Then if they like it, then you start talking shop.
Yeah, exactly. We do that.
All right. Very good. Very good. So today, okay, I know that gifting is something that you're deeply passionate about right now, but what would be like the other top things that you would advise people that are just starting with influencer marketing and thinking, so should we do this? How do we do this? What's the best practice for influencer for you besides gifting today? How should people start doing it?
I think the first thing, most brands, I think all of them run meta ads, right?
Yeah.
The first thing you need to do is to incorporate whitelisting and licensed influencer content within your paid media, at least 20%, because this will unlock you what we call social pressure. So you go to nano micro influencers that are exactly fit for your brand, and they are good content creator, like let's say not the UGC creator, because there is the UGC mark. You go to regular people, like real authentic people, and send them the product, do an affiliate deal with them, and ask for usage right and run the ads via their page. And don't treat it only ROI, treat it also like how you can get the brand. So for example, I am a supplement brand that I'm targeting, doing like performance marketing. Somebody visit my Facebook ad, like a normal branded ad, and landed to my page. That person, I don't know, is in the metro, is in his home, like everybody's life is different. If you're running whitelisting and you have not one, you have 5 to 6 different creators that you're running ads from their handle, and you're putting that in an ad set in your middle of the funnel or bottom of the funnel, that person in the same hour will get remarketed by 6 different authentic people talking about your brand. And you create that social pressure and you create that trust for your brand. Coupled with organic influence and word of mouth, then it creates brand magic. And your ROI on the channel like Google and Facebook will increase, and you can push fuel, how we say it.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, Faris, thank you very much. Yeah, this was very enlightening. How can people get in touch with your agency if you find an open slot at some point in the future?
Yeah, this year we are full, but we take conversation. We like to build a relationship with people before we work with them. So yeah, emf.media, you can send us an email, and happy to mention that you come from Iraq, and happily to organize a call.
All right, Faris, thank you very much. This was a pleasure, and keep on rocking.
Thank you.
And because you want more strategic e-commerce growth insights, conversations, and training, visit notblur.com.